Well, YouTube, Errol here, the comic chief. I finished this one and I'm still a little bit confused. I guess my reading comprehension isn't that great, and I'm talking about Jason Aaron's Avengers number 693. Don't get me wrong, I love the writing. Jason Aaron, he's a 5 out of 5 for me, no matter what. Ed McGuinness, his art's always awesome, especially on this cover. However, the interior art, I wasn't really feeling it, especially with what I thought was a 5-star rating on issue number 2. I thought issue number 3 would be great. But the title of this issue is Where Space Gods Go to Die. So, yep, we're getting an Avengers in Space issue. So, the cover art has me like Loki's a puppet master and he's pulling all these strings. But what's his endgame? The issue opens up with She-Hulk going ballistic because she keeps hearing a voice in her head after she and Robbie just teamed up to defeat the alien creatures that were circling them in the last issue. Her anger makes her so mad that I thought she was going to smash through Robbie, but she smashes her way through the ground and to what seems like the center of the earth. I said in the beginning, I'm not really sure I like the art in the book, and a big reason of it was because of She-Hulk. We went from a sexy looking She-Hulk in issue number 2 to this ugly, gruesome, grotesque Hulk, which I get that Hulk ain't pretty, but I just don't get it, the inconsistency so early in the run, and it's the middle of a story arc. So as Hulk smashes to the center of the earth, Ghost Rider follows her in his newly restored Hellcharger. Remember, it was in a paperweight last issue. So we're picking up to where things left off in New York. Loki has Thor, Iron Man, and Captain Marvel tangled in his magical storm. We see a panel of him standing in front of the final host, claiming he's only a facilitator. Loki uses his magic to take the warp grenades out of Captain Marvel's hand, but as they were starting to float towards him with his magic, Captain America breaks free from his force field prison that we last saw him in, and he hurls the grenades towards him with his shield to epically sacrifice himself and the enemies, Loki and the final host. So he has to be all heroic and tell his teammates, "See you in the stars, Avengers." And that's the old school Steve Rogers stuff that I like. And that's the type of writing that I think captures who Captain America is to a lot of people. So, yeah, we changed scenes to the center of the Earth, where we last saw Black Panther and Doctor Strange, who, by the way, we only saw in one panel last issue. So they're battling the giant alien creatures. As T'Challa tells Doctor Strange to go back to the surface while he stays behind to hold off the creatures for as long as he can, help arrives. All of a sudden, 2 became 4. She-Hulk and the Ghost Rider came in to save the day. So that's that. We go back, we cut to Captain America waking up, and of course Loki thwarted his plans because those warp grenades were tuned to the center of the sun. He used his magic and placed a protective shield around himself and Captain America. There was some great dialogue between Cap and Loki. So when Cap tries to tell Loki that there's good in him and that he could help the Avengers, Loki responds with the fact that while Steve is older and wiser, just because he fought the Nazis, that he was older and wiser, that Loki was even older and he's been through a lot more, and that not everything was as black and white, as good and bad, and cut and dry as it seems, and that he didn't understand why humans had to put labels on everything. I get it. So from what I gather, Loki's trying to tell Steve that what he's doing is for the good of the people of Earth, and that the way things were playing out had to play out the way they were. We see a panel that clearly shows the size and strength of the final host and the Dark Celestials, as they stand behind puny Loki and Captain America in the center of the sun. So they're not in the force field bubble. Just Loki and Captain America are, but they're standing in the center of the sun. That shows how much power they have. We cut back on Earth, where all the Avengers briefly reunite. We also learn that superheroes all over the world are dealing with the same creatures that were burrowed in the Earth. For example, Captain Britain. As the Avengers catch a breath, they end up splitting up right away. T'Challa and Captain Marvel head to Alpha Station to figure out what the bug creatures from the center of the Earth were, and Doctor Strange and Iron Man plan to pay a visit to the Eternals, which all this celestial and Eternal stuff is making me want to go back and pick up some Eternals issues. Yeah. So meanwhile, Thor takes Hulk to old Asgard to confront Odin about everything that has happened thus far. So I don't know, but the relationship between Thor and Odin seemed a lot rockier than I remember. Finally, Robbie Reyes was left on his own, and with nobody really knowing who he is, either he feels he has to A, prove himself to the Avengers, or B, he simply does the right thing by going on a hunt for the Dark Celestials and what's behind them. So he puts the Hell Charger on the scent of the space gods that are behind the fallen, not just the Dark Celestials, but the fallen Celestials. The final page brings us back to Loki and Captain America. As he tries to make reason and explain to Captain America of everything that was going on, somewhere beneath the North Pole, Loki shows Captain America the progenitor. He refers to him as the father of the Avengers and blames him to be the root of the great infection that the Dark Celestials claim there is, and the reason that the world must die. Again, what the hell is going on? Overall, I enjoy this series and Jason Aaron's writing. So far, it's great. And after reading an action-packed issue number 2, I think the slow down pace in this third issue was pretty good for this issue. So I'm looking forward to the next one. And what say you, YouTube? What do you think? That's all I got. So please like, share, and subscribe. This is Errol, the Comic Chief, going offline.